Okay, very good. How did your classes go with that incredibly rigorous lesson?
It went well. It went well. Again, the visual that helped so much in
Yeah.
the focusing or really stressing annotating and why you're annotating whatever that you're annotating was the biggest thing to me, because the first question that I gave him, we had done totals.
Yep.
And then the first question was just, you're given last year, this year's 10% more, and many of them wanted to just write, oh, the total was what was given last year. So question one was, last year the number of students was 260, this year there's a 10-year percent increase, or no, there's a 10% increase over last year.
Yeah.
And last year there was 260 scholars.
Yeah.
What's the total number of scholars for this year? And
Yeah.
many of them wanted to, they set it up how they should, X and then X plus 0.1 of X. But then I said, but guys, think of what we just did. When you think about it, about what we know and what we don't know. What do we know? We know, and then tell me, we know that this, or last year was 260. So why did you write it as the total? Oh, so what else do we know? If we know that last year is 260, what does that mean about this year? Oh, that means this year, if there's a 10% increase, it's going to be more than it. So draw your bar a little bit bigger, and then it was just, look at our four options. It was 26, and then 260 minus 26, which was 234.
Yep.
Then 260, then 286. I said, well, what do you already know automatically? Oh, it's going to be more than 260. Oh, I don't even have to do any work. Please show you work, though. But which of these do you?
Right.
It's just circle D. Oh. And I said, oh. I said, yeah. Oh. And so it clicked. I had to go through the exercise to see, but.
Good, but like anecdotally walking around, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, let me know how it looks after exit tickets. So we talked about top quality responses and how it was aligned to our TCP1 goals. We talked about writers write complete sentences yesterday. How'd that feel today?
Much better.
Yeah.
Particularly like with Sharon.
Yep.
Like take your two parts to make it a complete sentence, and then her just taking everything and then just wrapping it up in that. For the think about it, which was the 25% more. We know it's going to be 7th grade will have more students because we know that 7th grade has 25% more. So practicing that yesterday, not just taking 25. We know it's 25%, but
taking the two ends. What she said in the beginning was fine.
Yeah.
But it wasn't complete. Like, you know what she meant, but like, what did that do for all the other scholars in the classroom?
It helped clarify why we knew what we knew. So like, if there were any scholars who were on the fence or could have possibly been lost, like, why is the 7th grade going to be a large number? Well, it's because of what we know. And them telling us the information given at that being 25% more.
Yeah, I think it sort of gave them like the entire thing all put together, put it all in context for scholars. So scholars that were not able to like pick apart the different parts of the conversation, like that was an anchor point for them. Like they heard that and be like, I see where we're at. It also gave them something they could latch onto when it comes down to like top quality written responses to it. If they can talk about it in words, they should be able to write it down as well. So that worked really well. I want you to keep doing that. That was really nice incorporation of feedback. I also want to give you some quick feedback on the turning talks you used today. Another thing, like keep doing those. Like you used all the criteria for success from the PD that we had a couple of days ago. So you had accountable think time. You facilitated it correctly. You ensured the scholars in the den were writing things down. It was a quick little extra thing that you had to say that ensured that they were also working. You had the accountability aspect on the back end with the cold call. And the conversation that came out of it was like much richer. When you found that you were having a problem with getting an answer from somebody, you did the same thing. You used that as an opportunity to be like, you're right, that is a pretty hard question. Everybody take 5 to 10 seconds and just allowed everybody to engage in the material at that point. And it was kind of funny when you gave the Jeopardy thing. Kids like that. So definitely, like the writers write complete sentences. I felt like that went better today. I would continue doing that. And then just like the quick turn and talks were awesome as well. Loved it. So I did want to talk about, there was a point where you defined the different quantities. So you had like n, then you had n, then you had n plus 0.25, right? Or the n, or 2.5n. and you said that's a lot of individual variables. Can you do something about it? And you finally got an answer of maybe we could add the two n's and the 0.25n together, and like you were happy. And I was like, yep. The follow-up question it was a perfect cumulative review of why. And you wanted them to say because they are like terms. Do you remember the responses that you got?
There was one, I know Jocelyn had said unlike terms.
Yeah.
I want to say Genesis may have said something too. But I know there were two wrong answers, and then Tajay eventually got it.
Yeah. I got because they are variables, then I got because they are same variables, then I got because they are unlike terms, and then you finally got it was because they are like terms. How could you ensure that the first scholar that had the wrong answer that said they are variables was accountable for that correct answer?
Come back to it. Or I think it was Genesis. So Genesis, so you had said that they were...
I said because they're variables. So I'll go through the whole thing and then I'll give you the right answer and then do what you would do. So ask the question.
So what can we do with it? Was n plus n and then we have 0.25n. What can we do with these to make it simpler? How can we simplify this?
Maybe we could add the n's together and the 0.25n?
Yes, we could, but why?
Because they're variables.
Because they're variables? I think I understand why you're saying that, but that's not the exact, or that's not the Elm City answer. Maybe that'll be okay at Amistad, but not here at Elm City. So who can help Genesis out? Chris?
Because they're the same variables.
You're still on the right track, but you're not there yet.
Because they're unlike terms.
Unlike terms, we're going to say you're 75% there. We're missing that last little piece. And if we just want to take one little, I guess that's leading, so I'm not going to say that. Last answer?
Because they're like terms. I misspoke.
Exactly. They're like terms, not unlike terms. So, Genesis, why can we add these two together?
Because they're like terms.
Exactly. And so, why was your answer wrong, Jocelyn?
Because I said unlike terms and they're like terms.
Exactly. Super. So, what would the sum be?
Pause. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just the or accountability, the circling back of everything.
The comeback is...
Yeah, so there's a couple times where that happened where like you would get an answer that was either not correct or it was not quite correct, and you did the right thing that you pushed for a top quality answer, which is great. And the good news is all falls into top quality responses, which is awesome. It's staying aligned with the goals that we have, but then like not going back to the original scholar to make sure that they also got the information. So I think on top of pushing for complete sentences, also making sure that when you do get the wrong answer and you review somebody else, you popcorn back over to them. And just to get that real quick thing. It's like, so why is your answer wrong? I like that question actually too. I was just going to say it's like, unlike denominators, and you actually made me correct an answer that I gave it was wrong, which I thought was more rigorous. So it's good. So then today we'll look at tomorrow's lesson, and in the questioning aspect, the role play, I'll do some wrong answers, and I'll make you circle back and ensure that I get the right answer. Sound good? What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow is now just taking everything together.
Over here.
Aim. Tomorrow is... Aim. Students solve multi-step percent problems using proportional relationships. So using everything. And now instead of just the bar, it's just whatever's given. For example, I think about it is now it's the buy one, get something off. So that sort of thing. So I think about it is going to be this, where they're going to go step by step again, having to write things out. But example number 1 is the following. Buy 2, get 1 at 25% off, and if Peter wants to buy 5. And then if each one costs them 5, we'll how to break it down proportionally. Yeah. But with this, I feel as if, because of what we did today, that... Here.
Yeah, keep going.
What we did today of these knowns and unknowns, even though I didn't say box where what are the knowns and then what are the unknowns? So for the knowns, we're told that he's buying 5 shirts. They're going on sale. What does the word sale mean? So sale means whatever that is. It's going to be less than, it's going to be subtracted, and then buy 2, get 1 at 25% off. So if we buy 2 shirts, it'll be plus 1 at 25% off. Yep, 25% off. So what does that mean? What does it mean if buying something at 25% off. I mean, Chris,
It's a discount.
it's a discount. What do you know about discounts?
Discounts make it less.
Discounts make it less. But if you wanted to think the flip side, if I'm
Can you make me do that all with a complete
Oh,
sentence?
right. So if we just put that all together, just take Chris's answer to two parts of it in a complete sentence. What do we know about sales?
Sales means that it's, or discount, so that means that it's going to be less, so the original cost will be less.
Right. So if we go back to our vocabulary too, there's original cost, there's discount, and then there's the sale price. Remember that once you apply the discount, that the sale price will be less than the original. So if I am receiving, or if I'm buying something at 25% off, how much of the original cost, how much of the original price am I actually paying?
You're paying 25%.
Close. Remember, I'm receiving 25% off. So if I'm, remember what you had just said before, which was correct. And discount means less than. Chris?
It's 75% because you have 25% off of the original 100%.
Excellent. Super. Achieving credit. So I'm only paying, like I'm, for this particular
Make me
sale.
go back and,
Put it all together.
no, not to put it all together, make me go back and do the original one.
Oh, because I just.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, maybe I should do it. How should I do it? I'll go like this if I'm going to give you a wrong answer on purpose, and I'm a different scholar.
Okay.
But then in that case, you'd be like, it was like, so what is it? 75% and why? Yeah.
So, again, so the sale is I buy two shirts, I get one at 25% off, which means I'm only paying 75% of that cost. So that's what I know. What don't I know? We're now being asked that he wants to buy 5 shirts. So this is actually, let's switch this over. I don't know how much they cost. So 5 shirts, what does that equal to? So that's what we're looking for. All right. Now, what do I know? Part A tells us that each shirt costs $35. Great. So S is equal to $35. It would be real easy for me to just dump in $35. Would that be correct? Or looking at what we know and what we don't know, what mistake could a scholar possibly make?
Yeah, that's your first question you should ask at this point. Write that one down. That's a good one. I would anticipate that as one of the biggest misconceptions of this first one. That's a good question.
So, I guess top quality response that I'm looking for is that the mistake that a scholar's going to see is, oh, they just want to put S is equal to 35, so 5 times 35, which is equal to 75, that's how much the shirt would cost. And why would that be a good or wrong answer?
That would be a good wrong answer because you're simply substituting 35 in for S when you should get one of those shirts for the discount.
Exactly. So, since we know that this is a possible mistake, what do we know is going to be true about the total cost of these 5 shirts that Peter is going to buy?
You're going down a great route. That's probably going to be another question.
That's question 2.
Yeah, because I'm guessing that you want me to say right now that the cost needs to be less than 5 times 35. Yeah, that's a great mental check. So let's play that out with a wrong answer.
So, what mistake could a scholar possibly make just looking at the known and unknown? Chris?
They would substitute 35 in for S, and they would get that answer.
So, and why would that be incorrect? Chris?
Because they need to take 75% of S, and that is the final answer.
Chris is actually touching something that's really, really good. He's not there just yet. The 75% or that 25%, because that's how we ended up with the only paying 75%, is taking into account the discount. What else, or what little piece is Chris missing that would make that top line?
He's missing the other 4 shirts.
So now coming back to you, Chris, what are you, or what did you forget to keep, or what did you forget to keep in mind in regards to the discount here?
I was only calculating the sale price and not using the other 4 shirts.
Excellent. So let's do this. Let's break this down so that we're making sure that we don't make that mistake. mistake, which would be a common mistake. So we know that for every 2 shirts, one of the shirts is going to be at a discount. So this 5.
And then pause real quick. So let's do the visual anchor. Let's see what top quality work is going to look like here. So you're going to use the bar model again, correct? What would you want the bar model to look like?
I would want to see 1 shirt, 2 shirts, and then a 3rd shirt, but then either something like this to show that this is 25%, this is off.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that, so like this S, 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 so this is 3 shirts, and then we go another shirt, to show the 5 shirts.
Yep.
And then I would want to see, what do I know? I know this is equal to 35, I know this is equal to 35. I know this is going to be equal to 35 minus 25% because it's a discount. It's equal to 35, this is 35. And if they were to go even beyond it, 35 plus 0.5 yes.
No, it would be.
Oh, I'm sorry, just
they could skip of just doing 0.75 s. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
35. So 35 times.
0.75, yeah. Yeah.
Because this likewise would be 25% as a transfer
Do you see a misconception that they might have with this model?
right here. I think is where they would make mistakes.
I'm looking at right here too. Is there something that you would see right here that they might potentially come up with that might be wrong? They might not make this one. I'm going down the route of like, what's the worst case scenario?
Possibly money to right now.
Yeah, they're going to want to apply that percent or that discount a bunch of times. So what's a question that you can ask right here to ensure that they're just taking it for that 1 shirt?
Looking at what we know, how many shirts would you apply when do you apply the discount? After how many?
Yeah.
After how many shirts do you apply the discount?
Do it after 2, so it's the 3rd one.
So maybe the model should look something like this. Oh, he's buying 5 shirts.
No, actually, I like your model right now.
Like this?
I feel like you have one that is set up so like it's the rule. For every 2, there is one that is 25% off, and then you're applying it again down there. I think something that they might try and do is like, yep, I want 35, 25, 25% off. They might try to go 25% off, 25% off. So like, what would be like your preemptive question to make sure they don't do that?
Again, after how many shirts are you able? After how many shirts is the discount applied? Or when is the discount applied?
Yeah, so when is the discount applied? And I would say it's after the 3rd shirt, and then I would ask, so why are these 2 full price? Yeah. Cool. What equation do you want to the right?
So we got, it would just be 35 times 4 plus 35 times. And looking similar to what we did today was this would be like 1, 2, 3, 4 S. And this would be 0.75 S. So
Right, if you're gonna, so there's the concrete, and then like what would the abstract be?
So then it would just be 75S. So our price on this substitute S.
Yeah. And then I would also take them through the combined like terms thing. So it's like there's S, 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 S. So I have 4S here, and I have another S that is 75% of the cost. Cool. Nice. All right. So take me through the first example with the visual anchor, and I will. Let's just work on not getting the right answer and circling back.
So we know our knowns and our unknowns. We've written that down. We marked that somewhere, so we know that the shirts cost $35. We're looking to buy 5 of those shirts, or Peter's looking to buy 5 of those shirts. What mistake could a scholar possibly make? Looking at just this of what we know and what we don't know. It's a good wrong, a possible mistake that a scholar can make. Chris?
They might just substitute 35 in and multiply by 5.
Right. And why again, why would that, and why is that incorrect? Chris?
Because it should be 75% of the cost.
That's actually not right, but you're almost there. Christopher, you don't know?
Because you still have to, you have to find 75% of one shirt, but you still have to pay for the other 4 shirts.
Exactly. So Chris, why was your original answer correct?
I forgot the other 4 shirts.
Exactly. So we want to make sure that we don't make that mistake of forgetting to apply the discount after we purchase 2 shirts. So let's set this up. So we're going to draw the following of what we know and what we don't know. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shirts. Those are 5 shirts. But remember, we don't want to forget that we want to apply a 25% discount to one of those shirts, and particularly after the 2 shirts at full price.
And then pause right here, erase that, and go through it. All right.
So what will that?
Here comes the curveballs.
Okay. What will that look like? We are purchasing the first shirt, second shirt, third shirt, fourth shirt, and then the 5th shirt. Remember to what we just stated. What do we not want to forget about one of these shirts, Chris?
One of them is discounted.
One of them is going to be discounted. And how much is that? What percent is that going to be discounted at? What are we told? What do we know? Christopher?
You're going to pay 25% of the price.
25% of the price is actually incorrect. What is Christopher actually figuring out? What's he mistaking?
He said that it's 25% of the cost. It's actually 25% discount.
And what is, so Chris, why was the answer incorrect?
It's 25% of the discount.
It's the discount. Now what should you have, or what would be the correct answer?
I would pay 75% of the cost.
Excellent. So discount, remember, means what? What does the word discount mean? Christopher?
It means to take money away from an original price.
Right. So if you're subtracting, what's going to be less than? Right? So we're subtracting this from the original price. So this part of the shirt, or this part of the cost of the shirt, is going to be subtracted. So when is the discount applied again, Chris?
To apply after every 2 shirts you buy.
After every 2 shirts. So looking at my model, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why are these 2 shirts at full price? Chris?
Shouldn't they actually be discounted because you've already bought 2 shirts?
That's a good wrong answer. Take a look at it one more. Think about it for 5 seconds, looking at what we know, what we don't know, or really actually looking at what we do know. 4, 3, 2, 1. Chris?
You can only discount one because it's after every 2 shirts. The next one is discounted. So you apply it to the first one, but the second one you're just buying 2 more shirts.
I'm not going to front. I got a little excited. I was going to cut Christopher off. But Chris, coming back to what Christopher just said, why are these 2, why are we not applying the discount to these 2?
Because you can only apply it after you buy 2 at full price.
Super duper. Exactly. So these are going to still be at full price. Do we know the price of these shirts?
Yes. Real quick, pause. What you could do right here is just like, what would the price of the next shirt be though?
Oh, okay.
That would be a good follow-up question.
If I were to buy one more shirt?
Yeah. Yeah, but you can do it. That would be a good follow-up question for tomorrow. And that would help to clear that misconception if it comes up. Back in, sorry.
So what, now that I look back, this is what we know. What else, what other piece of information do we know?
Each shirt is $35.
Each shirt is $35. You know, this is 35, this is 35, this is 35, this is 35, and this is 35. How many scholars agree with Mr. Pierre? Thumbs up if you agree. Put up a 1 if you disagree, put up a 2 if you disagree. 1, 2, 3, flash. Let's go with Christopher.
I think the third shirt is supposed to be less than 35
Why?
because you're not going to pay the full price.
Why do you say that?
Because the problem told me that after 2 full price shirts, I get the third one for 25% off.
25% off. What does that off mean?
That means I'm going to take 25% of the original cost away.
A So I'm taking this much away. If I'm taking 25% away, how much of the original cost am I going to pay?
You're paying 25% of the cost.
So Christopher, you're actually wrong, Chris, because Christopher said that I'm taking 25% off, but it's not 20, it's 25% off the original price. If I'm taking 25% off the original price, that doesn't mean I'm paying 25%. What am I actually paying? Yes, John.
Yeah, Johnny. You're paying 75% of the price.
Exactly. So, Chris, what percentage of the cost of the original price am I paying?
It's 75%.
75. So this, remember, is going to be the 25 that we're going to take off. What's left of what we're actually paying is going to be 75%.
I like that visual better. That's good.
75% of that. So, is this shirt going to cost $35?
No,
No. How do we know that it's not going to cost $35?
because the original cost was $35, and I have to take away 25%, so it has to be less.
It has to be less. What would be the total cost if if we were paying full price for all 5 of these shirts?
It would be $35.
That would be the cost of one of the shirts. What would be the cost for all 5 of the shirts? Steve?
It would be 5 times 35.
5 times 35. So, Chris, what would be the total cost?
It's 5 times 35.
5 times 35, which would give us 175. Now, we know that's if we were paying full price for all. So if we know that this is full price for all 5 shirts, we know that we're paying less, or only 75% of this. What do we know is going to be true for the total cost for these 5 shirts?
It has to be less than $175.
And why is that?
Because it would cost $175 if I bought all of retail price. Great, no caveat. But I get one of them at a discount, which means I'm going to have a little bit less.
So, if you end up with, or if you see as a possible answer, if B, C, or D is greater than 175, excuse me, is equal to or greater than 175, what are you going to do with those answer choices? Cross them out. So there will be, I'm definitely going to put 175 in and I'll put 35 in there. It's 210.
Maybe you could do, you would probably want to go one where you calculate 25% of the cost and add that to 4S. And another one would be, maybe they apply the 25% as a tax. So instead of paying 0.75, they're paying 1.25. Yeah. Cool. So I've derailed you a lot, so it's taking a long time, but that was part of the practice. Now take me through the concrete to abstract, like bridge the gap for me now. So take me through the numbers and then get me to do the variables.
So we now know that we're paying, how many of the shirts are we paying at full price?
4.
4 of them. So I'm going to write 4 times 35 to represent the 4 shirts that we're paying at full price. But I also know that there's one shirt that I'm not paying at full price. What is that one shirt going to, what part of that price am I paying?
75%.
75%. How would we represent that?
Good. You could do 3/4.
We could do 3/4, great. Love the corrections. How else could I represent it?
You do 0.75.
0.75. I'm going to keep it as 3/4. And remember, it's 3/4 times the price, which is $35. We're going to add these two, and this is going to give us our total price. Is there anything I could do to simplify this for myself so that I'm not finding 2 values, or adding these 2 values, or finding 2 separate values?
You could use the distributive property.
Great. I'll leave them in dots. So I can pull out this 35. And what am I left with? I'm left with 4 plus 3/4, which is 4 3/4. Now I'm just going to multiply 2 values instead of multiply 2, multiply 2, and add. It stays with efficiency, and there's less likelihood of me making a mistake. If you want to keep it as fractions, great. 4, 35. That would give us the number. But then, guys, if I didn't know the price of the shirts, what would I have been left? If I don't know the price of something, or if I don't know a number, what do I use to represent that?
A variable.
A variable. And we we already got a variable here, which is equal to S. So wherever you see the 35, what does that 35 represent?
35 represents the cost of one shirt.
Cost of one shirt. So now let's say that I go to a different store. So wherever I see the 35, instead of writing 35, I'm going to write S to represent the shirt. Looking at this, how could we rewrite this? Well, which property would we use in order to simplify this?
I'm actually confused on this one.
I'm thinking just sugar property, and it's just 4.75 S.
Oh, you just wanted to rewrite it like that? Yeah. Okay.
Just to get them to go from, instead of it being 35 normal price to using an abstract. Now if it were a different price, instead of it being 35, let's say that it was 33, it would be fine.
Right. And then that's where you can compare these two and be like, oh, look at that. It makes sense. I was going to pay for 5, I'm paying for less than. And then you can kind of make the connection back to percents.
And why is this 5 and why is this 4.75? Is because this one I'm applying 25% discount. So it doesn't make sense when you see the connection between
Yeah.
the 0.25. That's less than
Yeah. Good. I think that's going to go well. That actually doesn't seem as bad.
I think because of today,
Because today was, it wasn't rough, it was just, today was hard.
which is hard. I think because we set it up, like you said yesterday, like the groundwork, they have this there. Again, those R's made it
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. Do you know why today went better? Like in your mind? Because, yeah, I mean, it was, like, yesterday was a little rough.
Yeah.
And there was some management things going on here and there and all that kind of fun stuff. But arguably, both lessons were pretty rigorous. So why do you think today went better?
I think again because they had it out there.
Yeah. Was there anything that you did specifically?
I know the framing was.
You were super positive this
Yeah.
morning. Like you really brought it.
Yeah.
And that started them off really good. Yeah, it's gonna be something that we continue to come back to. This is some hard stuff.
I'm hoping they see this. And even if it's not this exact question, but at least something where we can box it up and at least use this as a method or a tool to
Yeah.
solve.
So what are the main questions that you're gonna focus on tomorrow?
The main question is, what mistakes could a scholar make just looking at
Mm-hmm.
5S and 2035?
Yeah, so you're anticipating misconceptions.
Right there. Then, what do I know will be true about the total cost? It's gonna have to be less than this 105.
You're asking conceptual knowledge.
And then these two, one is the discount applied because that, like you said. For me, I was assuming that they didn't want to draw another shirt, but it's true that they could want to apply it to every shirt that's after.
Yeah. So again, that's anticipating misconception. That may or may not come out. That might go super fast. They might be like, no, you haven't bought a third one yet. I think this right here, this visual is going to help. In terms of this is one unit, which is why this works right here, versus this one here. If you drew them all together, I would worry that that would get, you'd see like S, part of it, part of it, part of it. Nice. Then you got some fake answer choices. What questions could you ask? With those?
Looking at your four answers, which of them should you immediately cross out?
Yeah.
Because we know,
Yeah.
you know, the full price here, it's going to be 175. It's got to be less than that, so anything greater than 175. Cross it out.
Yep. And then, so they'll get rid of C and D, and then you'll be left with A and B. They're going to find A real quick, and then it might be nice to throw them into a partner practice, or like a quick turn and talk, like, what do they do if they got B? And just like let them kind of like play with it.
Okay.
Because it would require them to play with the numbers. Do you have calculators tomorrow?
Yes. So I got.
Cool.
I mean, it was literally like 3 were fine, and everything else was like funky numbers spitting in and out.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Cool. You feel good?
yeah.
I think it's going to be a good lesson. Looking forward to that.
This was, that's a result.
Yeah, I'm glad that we spent a lot of time on that yesterday.
Yeah.
That's good. Cool. Thumbs up for the camera. We did it. All right. I'll jump in tomorrow. I'll see how it goes.
Cool.
But yeah, I think it's going to go really well.
Yep.